Hi! Today we're going to be talking about sustainable filmmaking, hence why Teresa has made the cut. I started becoming interested in sustainability when I was at university. I've always loved going to charity shops with my family and friends and buying weird and wonderful things from there, but I'd never really thought about it in a living sense, I guess. While studying, I would be on film sets and see the amount of rubbish that was left over, or things that weren't used in the end that we'd gone out and got and, you know, ended up just being chucked. There was one film that I worked on that was cut short because of funding. We spent ages building sets and props and going and buying random tools and materials. Because it got cut short, we didn't need any of them anymore, and I don't know what happened to it because I obviously came back home here, but most likely it ended up being a skip. You know, I've always loved being sustainable with my fashion choices, but I started to wonder, how can I be sustainable in my career and my workplace? Sustainability is a word that has been thrown around a lot these days, but what does it actually mean?
Also, by the way, if I do cough, I do not have corona. I just have a little tickle in my throat from getting a cracker stuck down it. Yeah. Sustainability means to balance and fulfill our needs while taking into account the environment, the economy, society, and future generations. Sustainable living is basically living a lifestyle that tries to reduce the use of Earth's resources and minimize pollution. There are some common ways that people try to live a more sustainable lifestyle. Number one is food. So eating from local places means there's less petrol to transport it. Having organic food that contains no pesticides or hasn't had chemical fertilizers on it. Food grown from home. Fair trade products tells you these items were grown using sustainable methods of agriculture and that local people are receiving fair prices for the goods they produce. Yeah. Number two is transport. Choosing ways to travel that reduce or don't add carbon to the atmosphere, such as biking or walking. Number three is reducing household energy use, so hanging clothes out to dry instead of using the tumble dryer, turning off appliances and lights when you're not using them. Number four is recycling, reselling, or donating, using things like Depop or charity shops to get your clothes from or give your clothes away to, and also recycling your rubbish. I apologise greatly for the camera being out of focus for basically the rest of this video. It's very frustrating to look at, I understand, and it is just as annoying for me to look at, but we can't do anything about it, so we're both gonna have to endure it together, okay? Great, thanks.
Obviously the list is endless in ways that you could be sustainable, but the film industry has a dire need to be more eco-friendly. I recently actually had the opportunity to talk to the creators of GoodPlanets.tv, Duncan and Tobias. They began a production company that is all about sustainable filmmaking.
Some of their core values include flying with airlines like Norwegian, whose CO2 emissions are 30% lower than the industry average. Number two is crews bringing reusable coffee cups, water bottles, and any other utensils. Number three, minimizing food wastage by donating any unopened leftover food to food banks, homeless shelters, or City Harvest. Number four, not printing things such as call sheets and scripts. Number five, using clean energy sources for editing. And there's so much more that they stand for.
Every film or TV show depends not only on a cast and crew, but also electricians, carpenters, designers, and various other labourers. According to BAFTA, a single hour of television, and that can either be fact or fiction, produces 13 tons of carbon dioxide. That is literally near to what a person generates in a whole year. Considering there are so many actors and directors that claim to be advocates for climate change and improving environmental issues, they are really lacking in talking about the ridiculous amount of waste that is produced by their own industry. Here are a couple of examples of films that underwent scandal for the environmental wastage that was left after their productions.
The Beach. Leonardo DiCaprio's film The Beach is probably one of the most famous films for causing extreme environmental damage. It reportedly bulldozed and re-landscaped the natural beach setting of Maya Bay in Thailand to make it seem more like a paradise. It was also accused of releasing paints and chemicals into the waters in Khao Yai National Park. Not only this, but so many tourists, around 5,000 per day, visited the beach after the film was released, so much so that the beach had to be closed off. The pollution from litter, boats and sun cream, etc. is estimated to have damaged more than 80% of coral in the bay. Mad Max Fury Road. Mad Max was shot in the Namibian desert to create the wasteland look. Environmentalists have complained that the film crew caused damage to sensitive areas and potentially to the small reptiles and rare cacti that live there. They were also accused of leaving tire tracks in areas that had been previously untouched. The film crew actually went back to try and remove the marks, but they did this by dragging nets over them, which ended up just ripping plants out of the ground and made things a whole lot worse.
Obviously, there are steps being put in place now to try and reduce the waste that is caused by film productions. There are actually companies that are now hired to come and take down sets and either recycle them properly or sell them on to film schools at a cheaper price. There are actually people called eco-managers who solely focus on the environmental and sustainable side of the film production. Banning plastic water bottles is such an easy way to reduce environmental waste on a film set. Plus, it also prevents a really annoying crackling sound happening during a take. You can also help your local community by using local restaurants as the catering service instead of spending a lot more money on a big company to sort out all the catering. Plus, you're more likely to actually get a healthier meal if you're using a local source. The list is also endless in ways that we can make the film industry a more sustainable place to work in. There are companies such as Albert who work with BAFTA, who are all about environmental improvement and sustainable improvement in the film industry. And you also have production companies like Good Planets TV who are making small changes that are really going to improve it all. I'm sorry if this video is a little bit on the serious side. This topic is something that's really important to me and I just feel like it's not spoken about enough. If you are interested in hearing more about this topic and this side of things, you can obviously contact me on Instagram or you can email me, which I'll leave in the description. I did say that I would do a photo challenge every week, even though this one's a bit more of a unusual video to put a photo challenge in at the end. This week, why not do something green? So inventive. Take a photo that incorporates something green. It can be what you're wearing, it can be a handy little prop. Whatever you decide to do, just incorporate the color green. This opens up the door for me to make more videos about sustainability if you're all interested. If you're not, I'll probably make them anyway. But you know, that's how things work on this channel. Thank you all for watching again, and I will see you next time. Peace.